Right now at noon, winter weather hits the 4 states. We see how MoDOT is handling the roads.
And we're continuing with a rain and snow mix for some of us out there. Wet roadways across the region. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, new details become available on the Iowa school shooting.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, 4 states, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We're going to start this broadcast with Chris as we take a look at our winter weather.
Yeah, we've got a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker to kick us off at this noon hour, and you can see all of this snow continuing to rotate on through with that low pressure system. And again, keep in mind, the way that the radar works is it's measuring the precipitation relatively high. And keep in mind as well, air temperature, even our temperature that we tell you it is measured about 5 feet off the ground. Radar's looking even higher, so in some cases, if you watch this loop, you'll see where it bounces back and forth between rain and snow and rain and snow. We are continuing to see this mixture around the region. This is the MoDOT camera, I-44 at Rangeline, looking back to the east. The roadways are still wet, which means slick spots are still out there. And of course, as we mentioned this morning, and as we've mentioned the last couple of days, that's the biggest concern for most of us is slick spots on the roadways. As you can see, taking a look in Joplin from our Cornell camera, that there's no real accumulations. I can still see the grass. There's nothing sticking, and nothing was sticking out there, but the roadways are damp and it's cold, which means they'll be a little bit slick. Winter weather advisories continue in southeastern Kansas through 6 o'clock, but the one in Washington County has been removed, and the one in northwest Arkansas from this morning has expired. 26 is where we started yesterday, made it up to 44, so as you can see, a relatively average day for us. 37 in Joplin right now, 34 in Pittsburgh, and again, wet roadways there from the KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh. Just as expected, off to the northwest, still a little colder, hence why they're still seeing a bit more snowfall out there as we're in the low to mid 30s, but down to the south and east, temperatures warming a bit, getting into the upper 30s. We're going to have another full look at your forecast when this snow exits and what we're looking at next week here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
All right, Chris, we look forward to hearing all that. Well, MoDOT is treating the roads for today's winter weather. They plan to plow today and will make plans for next week's weather.
So we do watch the ground temperatures real closely. So say the ground temps are 35, 36, pretty warm, we can generally just plow that off. But if, say, for example, the opposite is true, say the ground temps are below 32, that rain could freeze on contact. So that means we need to get a treatment out ahead down early so that that ice doesn't bond to the pavement.
Another issue facing the department is a statewide shortage of drivers. If necessary, some local drivers could be reassigned to help in the Kansas City area. And investigators suspect alcohol played a role in a crash that sent 3 teenagers to the hospital. It happened early yesterday on Hawaii Road, about 5 miles east of Humboldt, Kansas. Authorities believe a 16-year-old driver was traveling very fast, lost control, and the car flipped end over end multiple times in a pasture. The driver and 2 teenage passengers were taken to the hospital with what appeared to be non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities were seeking alcohol-related charges against all 3 teens. And a call from a Springfield hospital about a critically injured 6-month-old baby leads to the arrest of a man in Lawrence County, Missouri. Authorities arrested the father, Zachary Bridwell. The Aurora Marionville Police Department investigated and believed the injuries to the baby, including head trauma, were intentionally inflicted. Further investigation revealed the mother was a juvenile and the father was an adult, making the relationship between them illegal under Missouri law. They arrested Bridwell on suspicion of numerous crimes, including abuse or neglect of the baby and statutory rape of the infant's mother. And a 4-month investigation by multiple law enforcement agencies in Kansas leads to a drug bust. Wednesday, troopers initiated a traffic stop on a vehicle occupied by 2 suspects. 2 pounds of methamphetamine and about 2,500 fentanyl pills were located soon after. Authorities booked Jeffrey Philly and Teresa West, both of Wichita, on multiple charges, including distribution of methamphetamine and distribution of fentanyl. And authorities have arrested 2 suspects in the burglary of a closed Parsons, Kansas tobacco shop that was in the possession of the Labette County Sheriff's Department. Authorities had taken possession of the hashtag tobacco shop following an earlier narcotics investigation. Investigators say it was still in the department's possession when burglars broke through a glass front door and stole property from the business. Officers say they found the stolen items at a Parsons home where they've arrested a 20-year-old man and a 14-year-old boy in the burglary case. And a 6th grade student is dead and several others injured after a student opened fire on Iowa High School. Police are out trying to figure out a motive. Garrett Tenney has more from Des Moines.
A vigil held Thursday night in the small town of Perry, Iowa, hours after a 17-year-old student opened fire on his high school, killing a 6th grader and injuring several others, including the school's principal, before turning a gun on himself and taking his own life. The community is now trying to make sense of this tragedy.
I was actually on my way to work, and I got a call from my coworker stating that she said not to come to work because there has been a shooting and that we are evacuating.
As investigators search for a motive, police say they are combing through social media posts the suspect made around the time of the shooting. They are also speaking with those close to him, including friends who say the 17-year-old and his younger sister had been bullied.
We tried to be there when he needed us, which clearly we weren't there for him enough.
Was it a smart idea to shoot up the school? No. God, no. And I am mad at him for that.
Authorities say the shooter was armed with a pump-action shotgun, a small caliber handgun, and an improvised explosive device that was rendered safe by first responders. In the wake of the shooting, the White House now calling on Congress for more gun legislation.
When will enough be enough? Our students and teachers deserve to know that their schools are safe spaces and to focus on learning, not duck and cover drills.
Classes are canceled today in Perry, but counseling services will be available for anyone in the community.
And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon. Award season kicks off this Sunday with the Golden Globe Awards. We'll head to the red carpet for all the excitement. And later, we're making chicken lettuce wraps in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Stay tuned. After months of a Hollywood shutdown, actors, producers, writers, and directors are kicking off the film and TV award season at Sunday's Golden Globes Awards. This year's show airs on CBS and streams on Paramount+. CBS's Donna Backus has a preview of what's expected.
The red carpet is rolled out and table settings placed for Hollywood's first big party of the year. The 81st Golden Globe ceremony will be hosted by stand-up comedian and actor Joe Coy, who says he's received advice from past hosts like Chris Rock.
He said, don't do costume changes, don't worry about your makeup, just listen to the show, watch the show, stay backstage and be ready. If something happens, you're ready.
You're going to go out there and just have fun? I'm
keeping the door open. That's what I'm going to keep the door open and have fun and enjoy this moment. Hi, Barbie!
2023's box office blockbusters Barbie and Oppenheimer lead the film nominations.
It is going to be a Barbenheimer show.
Angelique Jackson is a senior entertainment writer for Variety.
I mean, these two movies led the nominations with 9 for Barbie and 8 for Oppenheimer. And because they are in 2 separate categories, comedy and drama, they really have a chance to shine separately.
Diversity is front and center at this year's awards. A person of color was nominated in each film acting category, and 2 women are up for Best Director.
It's really exciting to see this just vast array of nominees from this voting body that is now 300 people strong.
I love you, but you are not serious people.
On the television side, Succession leads the field, racking up 9 nominations in its final season, followed by The Bear and Only Murders in the Building with 5 nominations each.
So The Bear, of course, in the comedy category is up against Abbott Elementary, which was last year's winner. So there is a little bit of tough competition.
A star-studded lineup of presenters will be handing out the awards, including Angela Bassett, George Lopez, Michelle Yeoh, and Will Ferrell. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
There are 27 first-time nominees. The Globes also introduced 2 new categories this year: TV stand-up comedy performance and cinematic and box office achievement. The 81st Golden Globes airs Sunday night on CBS and streams on Paramount+. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
The holidays are over, so it's time to start tightening our belts, and we've got just the thing to help you get started.
But first, as this system winds down into the weekend, we've got to watch another one heading into the start of next week. We'll have a look at your forecast when the KOAM News at Noon returns. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we've been dealing with some snow across the area. Here at the station, we've seen some light snow. We've seen some moderate snow. We've even seen sleet mixed in, but it's all kind of let up now. But that's not the case for everybody, as the Skywatch Storm Tracker shows us. Now, this is a look at what we're experiencing based on temperatures and air temperatures as well. So some of us, as we mentioned this morning and over the last couple of days, some of us are going to warm up a bit compared to others. So snow continuing off in southeast Kansas. We're going to start our radar tour here in southwest Missouri. So almost right on Nevada, Stockton, Osceola, and down out into the east, we've still got some snow falling. And we've got a few light snow showers still in other parts of southwest Missouri, but those are beginning to let up. Same with these rain showers now. This is rain back into northeastern Oklahoma as temperatures there are climbing closer to 40 degrees. Across southeast Kansas, again to the north and west, it is colder, so some snow showers out to the west of Pittsburgh near Parsons, Chanute, and some slightly heavier snow, some light to moderate snow across other parts of southeast Kansas. All of this continuing to push on through southeast Kansas. Again, the areas where those winter weather advisories are exactly where this last kind of batch of snow will travel on through. Now, we could still see a couple of stray showers or snow showers through tonight, but the main snow event will be coming to a close probably in the next 3 or 4 hours. Road conditions in Kansas, the light blue, these are partially covered highways, as you can see, and they're back where a lot of that heavier snow's been, and we even have covered roadways in Elk and Chautauqua counties in southeast Kansas, and this does stretch all the way into the Fort Scott area for some slick spots on those roadways. Now, the Missouri side earlier, we had a few more of these mostly clear or slick spot areas, but as you can see now in our immediate area here in southwest Missouri, all the roads are showing as clear in terms of snow. Now, bear in mind, this is discussing wintry precipitation. The roads are still wet. There are still slick spots out there. Again, winter weather advisories in parts of southeast Kansas will continue through 6 o'clock tonight as the last batch of this snow rolls on through. So this is going back from this morning to now, what the estimated snow totals are. And really, even out here in this area with where we've got the half-inch mark, we're lucky to get a dusting, but a little more snow is possible. So dusting to maybe an inch. This is our 1 to 3 inch range, and out here is 2 to 4 inches. And that's what we're expecting. Future tracks showing where that snow that's currently out south of Wichita will continue to kind of clip in through southeast Kansas. As we head towards sunrise on Saturday, though, all of that activity starts to clear on out. Quick look at Metro cams from MoDOT around Joplin, and you can see roadways are wet in every single one of these. They're not snow covered, but they are wet, and it is cold, which means slick spots are a definite possibility. Our camera from the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin looking down here at 7th and Joplin at that intersection, and you don't have to look too hard to see that these roadways are still wet there as well. KDOT, this is the camera right at the Kansas Crossing intersection, still wet roadways, and of course as we head south of Pittsburgh, very evident wet roadways. So again, where we've got these cameras, they're not snow covered, but they're still wet, they're still slick. Right now in Joplin, sitting at 37, feeling like 29, cloudy skies, and again, the wet roadways. Same in Pittsburgh, cloudy, 34, feeling like 28, with an east-southeast breeze at 7. With the system, here's where it's colder. We're in the low to mid-30s off in the northwestern parts of southeast Kansas, and we're a little warmer the further south and east you go, getting closer to 40 degrees in Oklahoma. So again, some of us upper 30s for highs, some of us will still make it to the low 40s, all of us still a bit on the breezy side. Tonight, that light wintry mix continues, and we're looking at overnight lows back into the low to mid 30s out there. Real quick, because we're just about out of time, want to touch on next week. We're still looking at a rain-snow event Monday evening. It'll be mostly rain initially, but then it'll transition to snow overnight and into Tuesday morning, and then this snow will persist across the region. Here we are at 12:30, still dealing with that. It won't really fully exit the area until about, say 5, 6 o'clock, so it is something that we are watching very closely. However, Sunday, in between here and there, looks great. 47, mostly sunny, still chilly and cloudy tomorrow, but at least we're dry. And then, as mentioned, we're going to very closely watch that system next Monday and Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Chris. And stick around because we're making chicken lettuce wraps in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Today he's making a dish that was surprised by a popular restaurant item, and boy, does it pack a punch. It's called chicken lettuce wraps. Take a look.
After a month of holiday parties, Christmas cookies, and many just one more bites, it's time to pull in our reins and start eating better. So whether you made a New Year's resolution to eat better or not, we've got a dish that's on the healthier side, packed with flavor, and is very fun to eat. Here's what we do. We start by cutting a couple of boneless, skinless chicken breasts into 1/2-inch chunks and placing them in a plastic storage bag. To that, we add some soy sauce, minced garlic, and a bit of ground ginger. After we seal the bag, we give it a good shake so all the flavors mix before popping it in the fridge. While that's marinating, we rinse and separate a head of Bibb lettuce, or you can use romaine or iceberg, and place it on a platter along with some shredded carrot, fresh bean sprouts, and sliced scallions. Now, after draining off the marinade, we saute the chicken until no pink remains, which means it's ready to serve. For the fun part, we simply place a spoonful of chicken on each lettuce leaf and top it with the other fixins. Drizzle on some sesame or peanut dressing and dig in. I hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our chicken lettuce wraps as a way to help you get back on track without sacrificing any taste. And make sure you have lots of napkins on hand, because these can get kind of messy. In a good way. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a lighter way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
To find this recipe along with many others, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at your 4-state market prices.
All right, we'll have that rain-snow mix continuing today, breezy as well. Now start to wrap up overnight into early tomorrow morning. Cloudy and cool Saturday, warmer Sunday, and then again keeping a very close eye on our next weather maker Monday and Tuesday of next week. Something to watch.
All right, we'll definitely keep track of that. And coming up tonight at 5, the unemployment rate remains near record low as U.S. businesses continue to add new workers. Plus, this weekend marks 10 years since Colter Steffen's accident that cost him his lower legs and right hand and left him fighting for his life. Find out how this Southeast Kansas musician was able to transform his tragedy into triumph. And the importance of giving blood as January is National Blood Donor Month. Join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. Have a great weekend.